Welcome to SoCal Surfing with Stan Nappy. We are looking at the south side today of the Huntington Pier. It was shoulder high, I guess. The wind was offshore, which doesn't make it choppy, but when you go over a wave, or a wave is pretty big, it blows the top off of it and sprays behind it. So it's fun and it's pretty, because it looks good, but it also can blow you off the top of the wave when you're trying to drop in. It'll sometimes keep you high above it and not able to drop in. So that is what we were dealing with today. There was not a lot of people on the south side. Everybody was still on the north side, and there was no school there because the high school usually comes down, and they were not there today. So that makes it very nice because nobody notices that there's no one over there. They're just used to going to the north side. So it made it pretty sparse. There was only 2 or 3 people around us. Me and Craig were there. And I got a really good right. And it took me all the way in. I mean, just a long, long ride, many turns. But then the problem was when I turned around to go back out, the current was now coming out of the north and pushing me south. So I was down past the mall within a few seconds. And so I was paddling out and getting drugged down the beach. So I decided that I'm just going to go in and walk back to the pier, which is what I did. I walked back to the pier and went out there. And it is easier because the waves don't break necessarily along that pier. So you just paddle out pretty easy. And then you get back out and then you start over. But it was easy to stay in the area of the pier when you were outside. But if you got caught inside, then it sucked you down the beach. So the current was mainly on the inside breaks. So the swell was coming out of the north. And so it pushes the water south is what happened. If that continues, it'll make the water drop in temperature pretty severely, which I'm not a big fan of, but it does what it does. There's nothing you can do about it. So, still wearing my winter suit, which when the sun comes out, it makes it very hot in there. I'm going to have to remember to call the shop and see if they finished repairing my summer suit. I've only got another little while left to keep that summer suit in shape. But uneventful, generally speaking, in the ocean today. There was no animals, there was no real serious close calls or anything. It was pretty mellow. I got mostly rights, but I did get one left, and that's good because the current then, as it takes you back south, you've gone left, so you're closer to the pier. So that makes it easier to paddle back out. I only had to walk back once on that. And then the last wave, we decided, because I wasn't feeling all that well, I didn't stay as long as I usually do. You can tell my voice is a little different even today. But I don't know where I got this cold from. I don't know who. Could have been the kids that were here. We had grandkids here for a few days, and they could have transferred their germs to me. But I don't know. It could have been anywhere because it just started this morning. And so I wasn't in real good shape, so I couldn't surf as long as I usually do. So my last wave, I wanted to get a good one, obviously, for my last wave, and I managed to do that. It was a right, and I rode it quite a while. In fact, I rode it all the way to the sand, and I didn't have to paddle in at all. So I rode it even through to the shore break, which is fun. Makes it easier to get in. And then when I stepped off the board, I was in about waist-high water, and then the water coming back off the sand just pushes you so hard. It feels like you're going to get sucked back into the ocean, so you have to hold your ground there until it stops, and the next wave hits you in the back. You kind of walk in from there, and it took 2 of those to get in, but the current is strong going south, so have to put your feet in the sand and kind of wait for it to mellow out a little bit. But then we just walked back to the car and got in and went home. So pretty uneventful, really, except that it was a beautiful surf day. It was a beautiful sky, blue with some spotted clouds in it. The water was still very comfortable. The waves were real easy, not too threatening, so made it a lot of fun not to worry. And we went out and came in, and that was it. Surf was pretty mellow today, so pretty happy about that. We'll see what tomorrow shall bring. The charts say it's going to be smaller, but if with a little luck, the tide will be lower, which will help it to break, Because when it gets small, if it's high tide, they don't really break. You're just chasing waves that getting tired for nothing. So we'll see what we can come up with tomorrow. We don't know, obviously. You can only read the charts. The weatherman says it's going to be offshore breeze, which is warmer, so the air will be really warm. And depending on the current, if it keeps coming out of the north, it's going to cool the water down. But if it stays mellow, usually when the waves start getting smaller, then you don't usually have the strong current at Huntington. So we'll just have to wait and see if that is the case. If it stays small and mellow, then the current should decrease, and it shouldn't bring in that cold water yet. But we will have to see what happens, of course. You never know for sure. The ocean does what it wants. Nature does what it wants. And you can predict it, but you can not always 100% on that. So, fun day surfing. Come on down, surf Huntington Beach. Stay away from the pier if you don't like crowds. You can work your way up north into 10, 11, all the way up to 17th Street. Then it starts getting a little crowded up by 20th. And then cliffs always are hit and miss. You never know if it's going to be crowded or not. It's a large area, so it usually spreads the people out pretty good. So, all right, that's all for today. Thanks for listening. I will catch you tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Thanks, and don't forget to check out our sponsors: nappyclothing.com, merchhero.com, taskbullet.com, and swingeasyhammocks.com. They're all .comers, so you're already on the computer. Look them up. Thanks. Bye.